Welcome to Mid-10 Friday Night Football, the Reporter Show. I'm your host, Coach Lombardi, and we're joined by a panel of experts who know any and all things when it comes to high school football, not just in Middle Tennessee, but in the state of Tennessee. We have from the Murfreesboro Post, Jeff Neal, and we have Reddy from the radio, as well as from the Cannon Courier, Jeff Reddy. Reporters, welcome. Let's kick it off. So, this past week, there's actually some incredible games. I'll let you guys take it, but I just know there were some incredible games. So, Jeff, why don't you go ahead and kick us off and tell us about where you were at and give us a recap.
Okay, well, Thursday night I was at Blackman. They played Cane Ridge Thursday night game. First half, Blackman didn't play as well. They were up 14-6. They blocked the punt and scored off that. The guy picked it up, but the only points that Cane Ridge scored is they threw a pass at one of their receivers. He fumbled it and guy took it in. But the second half, they dominated. Elliott, their quarterback, transfer from Rockville, scored 2 touchdowns. Their other running back, too, I can't remember that, but he scored 2 touchdowns as well. They won 42-6. On a Friday night and on Thursday. Then Friday night I was at Middle Tennessee Christian. They played Franklin Grace, or Grace Christian as they call Franklin. They were totally dominated. They had 15 penalties, had 5 turnovers. They threw 3 interceptions, fumbled it twice, 2 in the first half. It was 14-0 at half, but they scored 27 in the second half. In the fourth quarter, this kid Zachariah Rankhorn, he took an interception from about 22 yards out, scored a touchdown. Then they had the running clock because it was a mercy rule, 35 points as they do. And so MTCS was driving, last little bit of the inside the 20. The last play, their running back fumbles, but Rankhorn picks it up, runs about 80-something yards for a touchdown. The clock runs out. That was the last point that was scored. They didn't kick the PAT, of course. The game was already over. It was 41-0.
Wow. You do that many mistakes and turnovers.
When you turn over 5 times, you're not going to win. And they had a young quarterback, had a freshman quarterback playing through. Their starting quarterback got hurt during the Ezel Harding game, so they played a freshman. He did all right, but they're a real young football team. That's what Pearson said. They've got to get better. They know that, and they've got a game in 2 weeks. Plus, they won't have a game at home for about 3 or 4 weeks now. They only got 9 games. So
wasn't this a replacement game? Because
no, they've got one later on the season. They're going to.
Oh, okay. Because I know they played Webb and
Webb and Kings were taking off, but they found one replacing, and they've got 9. But they've got 4 home games, I believe. Okay. So,
all right, ready? You ready?
I'm ready, and it's Keith ready. I know Jeff kind of looked at you odd because I saw him in the camera when he said Jeff ready, and I'm thinking, man,
I'm his brother. You didn't know that?
Yeah, brother from another mother.
Yeah, That's right. That's it.
Oh, that's right. I just got that. All right.
Well, I had the privilege of covering the Providence Christian Academy crushing of Cannon County. Cannon County, of course, week number 1, 31-0 over Monterey. Let's get back down to earth with Providence Christian and the coach out there at Providence Christian, LeBron Ferguson, really had his team prepared, a lot more prepared than what I expected. I expected us to win going into that game, looking at the roster and the youth of this Providence Christian Academy roster. Providence Christian had a sophomore quarterback. In fact, they've got 3 sophomore quarterbacks on the roster. 2 of them actually played. And then you've got a freshman quarterback. That's it. I mean, the rest of everybody else is, they've got young talents surrounding them. They've got an experienced offensive line, and that experienced offensive line opened up the holes that they needed for one of their seniors, Porter Dedman, to break through. He rushed 14 times for 96 yards, had a touchdown. He did a little wheel route for 65 yards for a touchdown, broke free in the middle, and the beating was on. Cannon County and in Providence, basically in the first quarter, they played tight. It was 7-7. Miles Alexander scores on a 33-yard touchdown pass to tie it up. But after that, it was the Porter Dedman show. And really, what really sparked him was this kid named Zayden Ronner. He's a senior, small kid. He's a wide receiver. He had 45 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns. But what really sparked him when they first got started was there was a 72-yard punt return. Nobody touched him. And he
Mm.
went running all the way 72 yards for a touchdown. Then the next series, after Cannon scores to tie it up, they go with a big pass play to Ronner in the corner of the end zone. He catches a miraculous pass from Nate Lamb, who went 6 for 13, 154 yards, 3 touchdowns on the night, and that's when it started. And Cannon could never catch up. It was 21-7 at halftime, and then in the third quarter, 2 plays I think is all it took, because Providence got the ball to start the second half. 2 plays is all it took, and bam, they were in the end zone, 28. And then they hit two big touchdowns. That their second string came in and didn't really make much of a difference as far as the quality of play. Didn't seem like it did. They were just they had their foot on the gas from the time they started till the time it ended, and Cannon lost.
Yeah,
So,
well, maybe LeBron's got something going on over there.
Oh, I think he does. He's built that program. You know what? Back when Providence Christian started, he started the 8-man football over there. And these kids that we're talking about, Porter Dedman, Nate Lamb, and them, they were all 7th graders when he first started. So they were 7 through 12 school. So these guys are now becoming our seniors. These are the guys that grew up with him. So he's building a program, and when they went to 11-man football, it was just like the next step for them. And they've been successful each and every year, and they get good athletes out there. So,
all right. So let me share my experience. Right. So I took your guys' advice and I went to the coffee cup. Me and my son we went up there, and the atmosphere was great. Right. It is. And the game, man, I tell you what, the game was good. Up until a couple things, mishaps. And all my years of coaching, I'll never blame the refs. Never blame the refs. You know, I make bad, play calls, players drop passes, refs will miss calls, right? It's the part of the game. But the game was tight. It was like 17-22, and it was like a minute and a half, something like that. And they had Coffee County had the ball, right? And they were going a little bit back and forth in the first half. Well, the quarterback broke the pocket, and he starts running, and he got clothesline, and just it was ridiculously bad. And you could call it horse collaring, clothesline. It was bad. We got it on videos. Like, we got to watch this. And so he got clothesline taken down, and then when he went down and when he rolled over, he let the ball go, right? It wasn't a fumble. Well, they actually called it a fumble. So it's like the worst of everything. They didn't get the penalty. They lost the ball. And then Tullahoma went in and scored. Now, it's not to say that Tullahoma wouldn't have won the game, or Coffee County, if this would have made that big of a difference. My thing is it's just frustrating because the atmosphere was so great in a game of that magnitude. You would like for everything to be locked in, from the players, the coaches, to the refs, right? And then it's just unfortunate that a play like that, it didn't affect the outcome, but you could definitely tell it changed momentum, right? Because then, Tullahoma went in. Now, instead of it being 22-17, it's up 29-17. So it goes from a 1-score to 2-score. Well, then Coffee County kicks the ball off in the second half, and that stud, Marvancy Johnson, takes it for 80 to the house call. Now they're up by 3 touchdowns, and it's Katie bar to the door that the game was done. But it was a great atmosphere. I just wish the game would have had a better opportunity. You know what I mean? Because it was really good. I love the fans, love the atmosphere. The coaches were great. They gave us full access. It was an awesome event, really do. So that was my thing. So let's go to some of the surprises. And Reddy, I'll come to you. What were some of your surprises?
Well, the score on that one was a surprise to me. I kind of figured Tullahoma would win, but I didn't know they'd win by that much. 57 points is the most scored by a single team in the history of that rivalry. Really? It is. And, Coffee County didn't do a bad job at all. They had 220 yards of total offense in the first half.
They got a nice
finished.
Yeah.
they finished with 365 yards. And anytime you're a team that can finish with over 300 yards of total offense in a high school football game, normally you're on top. So that just tells you the magnitude of what happened, that turned the tide in that game. But
their defense, and their defense was, like I said, it was pretty solid. Um, they Marvancy Johnson, and they have another running back, number 2. I mean, they scored 2 kickoff returns, 2 running. They did explosion where Coffee County was controlling it, right, stuff like that. But then they would punt it, kick it off, and then whoop, they would flip it back. So they were in it. But I think it was the fourth quarter. I think they scored 28 points, right? I think that's what it was. And so yeah, it was a blowout, but the scoreboard doesn't really indicate what the first half was like, and that's kind of frustrating. So was there any other surprises in the area? I mean, there's one that kind of jumps out with that kid Jared Curtis, right?
well, I think a couple of ones for me in talking about this White County football team must be pretty good this year. They went to York Institute, beat them 42-14. We're going to find out just how good White County is in a couple of weeks when they have to play Cookeville, because Cookeville, they're struggling. In fact, I think they got beat. Another one that was kind of surprising to me was Riverdale Father Ryan. Riverdale, of course, took a loss in week number 1. They jumped back in it and blanked Father Ryan 35-0. That was kind of a surprise to me. Let's see. There were some other ones that I had here. We predicted this one, Maryville and Knoxville West, 48-7 Maryville. They blew out Knoxville West. That wasn't necessarily a surprise. My 70-point club this week, there was one school that joined that, Lakeway Christian. I'm not exactly for sure where that's at, but according to TSSAA scoreboard, they beat Asheville Christian out of North Carolina 70-0. Last week we had a 78-6 score, I think it was 78-8. Yeah, Chester County beat Memphis East. They said, now I'm not for sure how accurate this is, but somebody in the comments of a game that I was watching, that I saw, and them promoting this game, said that the Chester County scored 42 points in the first quarter of that game.
Wow.
So the route was on. But let's see, Greenville and Upperman. Now that was a little surprising score. Greenville beat them 41-33.
Yeah.
That was a little bit of a surprising score. What wasn't was Grundy County and Robertson Innovative. Remember we talked about that last week.
They're all over Grundy.
64-6. Grundy County might have something going here this year. Stone Memorial. Here's another kind of surprising one. You have a 5A school or 4A school taking on a 1A school in Coalfield, and Stone Memorial outlasted them 48-41. Looking down the lineup, that's right. Franklin Road Academy beat Cookeville. I mentioned that 40-14. Here's another interesting score to see. Fayetteville, they fell to Friendship Christian, and it was kind of like playing arena football, I think. 50-48 was the final score in that one. It looks like there was no defense whatsoever. Giles County, they bounced back after a loss in week number 1. They beat Henry County 27-14. And I think, I'm looking at a couple of scores just for my own interest to see, because Cannon County is going to be playing these guys. Gordonsville 17, Watertown 6. Smith County beat Watertown last week. Gordonsville beats them by a little bit more. That Gordonsville-Smith County game is going to be one that when it happens, and we'll have to take a look at the date, you might want to travel down to Carthage or Gordonsville for that one down in Smith County, which is past 11, and for that particular game, because that's going to be for all the marbles, I think, in Region 4 2A. It's going to be one of the top games in the region. But those are some of the games that I thought that kind of stood out to me, and some of them that I've been watching, and some surprises there.
All right. Well, Jeff, are you ready to share your surprise?
Yeah. The one about Friendship Christian beating Fayetteville. John McNeil is coach at Friendship. He coaches baseball as well. The baseball field's got his name on it. He won a couple of state championships at that. He's won 2 or 3 in football as well. He got his 300th win Friday night when he beat Fayetteville 50-48. That was his 300th win, according to what Max Preps and all them said. So he joins that win club. A class guy. I've known him for a long, long time. He's a really good guy. He's been at Friendship Christian for, gosh, no telling how 30 years or more. Everybody loves him. He's a good coach, good man. But as far as the score surprised me, Siegel and Lebanon Friday night. I thought it'd be a lot closer ball game. Lebanon won 35-3.
Yeah.
And also in that game, I know Keith knows this guy, Tommy Bryan. He retired from our company, Main Street Media, this past in May. They put his name on the press box Friday night.
Oh,
Like Marion Wilhoit, I know he knows who Marion Wilhoit in Columbia. He's passed away. He's got his name on the press box up there too. So if I had a Mount Rushmore state, a press sports writers in this state, Tommy Bryan's on it, Marion Wilhoit's on it, the guy from Chattanooga Hargis is on it. Those three right there. But Brian's a class man, a class act professional in every word, every deed, everything he does. He did it for 48 years. He went to Cumberland when it was a junior college. It's a 4-year school now. He graduated in Lebanon in the mid-70s. He's a Blue Devil. He's the Blue Devil Hall of Fame. He's in TSWA Hall of Fame. Now he's got his name on the press box, so his name's forever now up there. They love him. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do. They got a guy replaced him over it, but Coach told me one time, he said, when Tommy Bryan retires, ain't going to have no more sports at Wilson County. Now we just shut it down. Ain't got no more sports. He just shut it. We ain't got no more sports over here when Tommy Bryan retires. So, but he's a class man, But that game surprised me, 35-3. Oakland surprised me a little bit because I didn't know how good West Virginia team was. They shut them out 49-0. So you never know about out of state teams. That's kind of a surprise too. Of course, Rankin got his win. He beat Chattanooga Prep this week, got another win. You talk about 70 points, Keith. The first week, Notre Dame put 73 on Grace Baptist for 73-0. First week, so about 70 points. But those are the ones that really surprised. And Rockville and Station Camp, that was one they were up by 14, I think, late in the ball game. By one to Station Camp, 32-31. Yeah. So they play Rockville plays Laverne this week. That's the battle of 0-2 teams.
Yeah.
Counts at a time.
0-2 and two new coaches also.
The two new coach counts it within Henry County. They're both 0-2. So it's the first region game this week in this Rutherford County. So that's one of them. All so that's probably a big surprise for me.
So share, go ahead and keep it going and share about a standout player. Just who's one player?
Yeah, Stewart Creek right now has got a running back. Brown, he had about 30, 40 yards. He's had 400 yards first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
They play Siegel this week, so I know Renshaw's going to have his bullet on him because he's been running all over the place. But the first week he ran for 260, ran about 140, I think, this coming week. So they're 2-0. They're playing really well. And they had some running backs last year. Everybody thought they wasn't going to be as good at running back. They just got another one that they just put him in there and keep going. And Taylor's a good quarterback, so that should be a good ball game too, Stewart Creek.
Yeah, Caudell's got a nice program over there. It's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, Caudell's done a good job. He's won 11 last year with the third round, so looking to go further. Yeah.
All right, Reddy. What do you got as your standout player? Did you get a chance to
other than my own, game with Dedman, I think he was a standout player. Let's talk about this game that neither one of us mentioned in that, and it was a down to the wire type of thing between two private schools. Nashville Christian defeats Ensworth 42-41 in overtime.
Yeah.
And Ensworth was not ranked. Nashville Christian was. Of course, they've got that big quarterback, and his performance, he ended up being pretty much the difference as he got 3 touchdown passes and the score at the end to help Nashville Christian get a win. But I think another one, even though he lost, was I read about Jonathan Hamby, the transfer student for quarterback for Rockville, 11 of 21, 206 yards, a touchdown. He rushed for 57 yards and 2 touchdowns in the 32-31 loss to Station Camp. So
I'm gonna throw the one player in that I actually was at, and that's that Marvancy. We call him Fancy Johnson. He didn't touch the ball maybe 12 times. Right. And he did a kickoff return. He did 2 running, scored 2 touchdowns, running, scored a touchdown, receiving. He was dominant. He was dominant in that game. I wish I knew his stats, but all purpose, he probably got close to 300 yards total all purpose. I mean, the 2 running plays were 50 plus on their own. So, all right. So let's go on to the pros picks. This is our spot, right? So last week You guys actually did pretty well. All right, when I looked at it, Charles was 3-0. Reddy, you were 3-0 also, but because the tiebreaker with Brentwood Academy and Brentwood, you actually got the tiebreaker because your total points was closer. So now you're officially at 6-1. Charles is at 6-1. Jeff, what we're gonna do with you, because you missed the first week, we're just gonna double what you had. So you got 2-1. So now we're gonna say you're 4-2. I just think that's being fair. So we have some games this week, and week 3, I told you guys we had 4 games because I really couldn't figure out who I wanted to narrow because there seems to be some pretty good games that's starting. So let's go ahead and start with the first one. I chose Springfield at Portland. I don't know anything about these teams. The only thing that stood out is Portland's hasn't been scored on, and Springfield's only given up 13 points. So you guys know about these teams. So let me know what you think in your pick. Go ahead, ready. You're ready.
I don't know anything about these two teams. However, I did a little looking, and
Right.
kind of like what I did last week in predicting that score between Brentwood Academy and Brentwood, by the way. As you mentioned, Portland has not allowed a score all in both those games. They've outscored opponents 136-0.
That's a good way
One
to
of those opponents just so happened to be White House, and White House is one of the top teams in the state. They're
get
like
out of here,
ranked
really?
in the third bracket, I guess, of them. Springfield has allowed just one touchdown each game, 13 points. But Portland is at home, and just because that Portland beat White House, that's a bigger win than so far that Springfield's done. Both of them are 2-0. I'm going to take Portland at home for that one.
All right, all right. Jeff, what do you got?
Well, Portland, Springfield. I mean, I don't know. I don't know who else Portland played, but if that's White House, the Blue Devil Pride, that's a pretty big win. They've got White House Airs against another conference, same school, but whatever school it is, that's a big win. Now, Portland has a little bit more tradition. They're known as the Portland Purple Panthers. You know, Roger Perry coached over there for years. His son's coaching at Mount Juliet now. He coached at Mount Juliet for a while too. But they won, I think, 1 or 2 states or something like states. I don't know. They play at their old high school. It's a middle school. And that's where they play their ball games. But that's what they're Springfield's Yellow Jackets. But I'm with Keith. If Portland's playing home, I'm gonna go with Portland. I mean, they're a pretty tough tradition, and they have a good fan base. So I'll go with Portland by touchdown, 10 points, something like that.
Now I'll say this. Anthony, just to give you a little idea of the tradition down at Portland, as Jeff talked about with Roger Perry being down there. I remember going down there and they had a train sound effect, train whistle.
Mhm.
And every time they scored a touchdown, which was a lot when they played Cannon County, that train whistle would blow and blow and blow. It was annoying. They 1 year they blew that train whistle, I think, one too many times against Smith County, and Smith County went up on a day out. Now, this is alleged. This is not. They were never convicted of this, but somebody stole that train whistle,
That's
and
fun.
Smith County kind of owned it and said that they did it. But so I don't know. I'm sure they've got the train whistle tradition going, so it might be blown quite a few times in this game against Springfield. We'll see. I mean, I think it'll be a close game.
So Portland is one of those like I was thinking maybe it'd be worth trying to find a game to go watch there just because we like trying to find the like the Macon counties and the the ones that are kind of a little bit off. Nobody really knows too much about them, but I wonder how good the atmosphere is out there.
Yeah, Portland's in the Kentucky line now. You go get close to Bluegrass, you go up there. You about 10
Okay.
minutes to Bluegrass, you go to Portland. Keep going north, keep going. Right, Keith? Remember we had to go there basketball one time? Keep
Now,
on going
one
north. Keep
time, if
going.
you remember,
You
what
keep,
was
you
that?
keep.
What was the name of that athlete that ended up playing for the University of Florida?
Corey Brewer. Remember?
There we go.
Oh, he
Yeah.
went to Florida, played
Yep.
in the NBA. He
Yep.
played for Portland basketball. He was a
Yep.
basketball player.
Back when I was doing
Oh yeah.
radio. Yep. Sure
He
Well,
was.
if I
could play too. He was a hoss. That joke was a hoss.
Well,
Yeah,
if I do make a trip up there, it definitely would have to be before
yeah, you go north, but
October.
before they had lottery tickets, everybody in Tennessee ran to Kentucky, get the right. They can't go it now, but everybody ran to Kentucky, get the right. Now they get their a tax free grocery, go up there, get tax free, and come back and get their tax free savings. See the tax free grocery, come back to Tennessee and get all the
All
groceries
right,
back.
well, let's move on to the second game. All right, I narrowed it down to, um, so I chose Centennial at. I don't know if it's called Gallatin or is it
Gallatin,
Gallatin? Yeah, I've been
Greenwood,
there. I like the stadium.
nice.
They started out. Gallatin started out 2-0, and they beat who they beat last week. It was kind of impressive. I have it off my head, but and then Centennial. Um, Charles was talking about what was it, Fairview, and Centennial really put a good number on them. So I was like, you know what? Let's try this. Gallatin at home against Centennial. So, Keith, let's go to you first.
Oh, wow. And I can't even read my writing, but I'm going to say it's Gallatin going to be in a close one at home since they're at home. I'm going to pick the home team. Gallatin, they are tradition. When we talk about tradition football year after year after year, I mean back in the 80s, they were monsters. 90s monsters. I went and watched a game, did a ball game against Riverdale, and it was just tradition all the way. They eat, breathe, sleep football. That's what they do up in Gallatin. Um, Next week, I don't know how this Gallatin team is this week. We're going to see pretty much them. We're going to figure out how good Gallatin is because on September 12th, they play their region opener against Cookeville at Cookeville. So Cookeville's struggling this year, and that was a perennial team that for years you didn't want to play Cookeville in the region because how many years in a row in the region they went undefeated. Now somebody's put a chink in their armor. So I'm going to say Gallatin's going to win that one in a close game, though. But that's just because they're at home. That's what I'm going to say.
All right, Jeff, what do you got?
When you talk about Calvin, you got to talk about Calvin Short. You got to talk about the A's and nine. You got to talk about they played the state championship several times, won a couple. The athletes they had were just, you can go down the line, like Rick Eansel says, so many. I mean, and he just died here this past year, Calvin Short. He was a great coach, great guy, just one of the good ones. And I tell you what, if they do have tradition back, you better look out because they'll pack that stadium, and it's in town. The first time I went up there to cover a ball game, I went to the high school. It wasn't over. No, it's in town. You got to go there. I didn't know it was in town. It's not the high school. You got to go in town, and it's about in town somewhere. It's nice, beautiful. Like they said, Keith says they eat, sleep, and drink it up there. They love it, and if they're good, they're good. And I think they'll win. Centennial lost Stewart Creek by 3 the first week. So yeah. I think Gal's going to blow them out. I'll say 2-3 touchdowns. Yeah, okay. They're going to blow them out, I think.
All right. So you guys are both on it. You guys are same again. So let's go to the Kreisky Bowl. Here we go. It's part 3, I guess, with Blackman versus Riverdale, right? With this one. So, Jeff, let's go with you. All right. Who are you picking in the Kreisky Bowl? And give me the score.
Well, it's not really Cry. They played with Centennial, but probably the 45th edition of it. They don't talk this week. Their brothers, they ain't gonna talk this week. I can tell you that. They love each other. They're great coaches, but they're not gonna talk. Now I'm a Riverdale alum. I should be picking Riverdale, but I'm gonna go against the grain. As I watched Blackman Thursday night, and I'm gonna say it's at Riverdale. They playing at Tomahawk Stadium. They got a new jumbotron, like Smyrna and some of these other schools do. But I'm gonna go with Blackman. I'm gonna go with Matt Kreisky. Will ain't gonna like it. I'm going to go with Matt. I'm going to say he's going to win upset him. And if he does, boy, Riverdale goes on and 1 in the region. Woo, that would not be liked over on Warrior Drive, I'm going to tell you, because it won't be liked. But they don't talk to each other this week. It's a rivalry. It's a backyard brawl, like you say. But I'm going to go with Blackman by, now let's say 3, Blackman by 3.
Well, what's the score?
30-27.
Okay. All right. Ready? What do you got?
I don't feel like I'm a copycat here because I'm going to say the same stinking thing. I feel Blackman, even though I'm a Riverdale fan, live close to Riverdale. I'm kind of a Blackman in all of what Blackman's doing right now. They beat Clarksville 24-6. They beat Cane Ridge 41-6. Got 2 quality wins against 2 really good teams. Riverdale, of course, they lost their first game of the season. They came back and they beat Father Ryan 35-0. And yeah, it's up in the it's up at Riverdale, but it doesn't make a difference. We're in Murfreesboro, and you got those two Murfreesboro schools that are just going to go battle it out. Um, I think Blackman, when I looked at the scores last year, Blackman lost to Riverdale 24-7 in the regular season. Then they got ousted in the second round of playoffs 31-17. And I think Blackman's grown from that. I think, I think Blackman will take this one. I think they're grown enough to where they can probably beat a Riverdale team. But again, it's going to be close. And I'm going to take them by 3. I have it right here written down just in case, so you don't think I'm cheating here. 24-21, Blackman is what my final score is going to be.
All right. Well, there you go. So at least it's not the tiebreaker is not going to be exactly the right. So I mean, 3 points, you guys get it. I do actually like what Blackman's going on. I like both of them. I think they're both great. But with Blackman, with any coach coming in, it usually takes year 3, right? Year 3 to get him in, get your program going. And I think last year they took a big leap, right? And started, because they took Oakland down to the wire. You could say they actually just kind of self-imploded. They should have won that game.
Yeah, they blocked it. Oakland blocked the field goal at the end.
Yeah. I mean, so it's like it's they're moving in that stages. And the thing that's crazy is if you just think about these schools in Rutherford County. I mean, Stewart's Creek was what 9-1 last year. Oakland's Oakland. Riverdale had 1 loss. These teams are just getting so dominant, and it's unfortunate because they're going to knock each other off in round 3, right? And that's just I bet you if they had a way of going different cycles, you'd get a Murfreesboro championship almost every year.
Well, you could, but this year the Murfreesboro schools, they're traveling west instead of east. They ain't got to play Maryville. They're going west.
Okay.
Semifinals, they'll play Houston or Whitehaven, somebody like that. If Oakland goes to the semifinals, they'll be going to play Whitehaven or Houston somewhere. They won't be playing Maryville again.
Yeah, I mean, I just mean like last year. I think Riverdale had a great team.
They did. Oh yeah.
They've always had a defense, but they had, Malachi was. I mean, he was a great quarterback as far as from a straight leadership, and they were seemed so balanced, and they had to face Oakland. Had a great game, but I'm sitting there thinking if Riverdale was in another bracket,
oh yeah, no doubt,
they could have met in Chattanooga. They would have met in Chattanooga.
I agree. No, I agree. Yep. No doubt.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know why the state does that. I mean, maybe it's they just don't want Middle Tennessee schools in the championship. But all right. Well, hey, that's our show. I want to thank you guys for coming on. And of course, if you like our show, please like it. Please subscribe. You see their Instagram post or contacting them anyhow. So till next week, we're looking forward to seeing you again. And Coach Lombardi saying, Faith Family Football.